Sandra Bullock stepped into the luxurious jewelry store in Beverly Hills, the soft chime of the doorbell announcing her arrival. Dressed in dark jeans and a sleek black turtleneck, she exuded an understated elegance. No flashy jewelry, no designer logos, just quiet confidence. The store was a haven of exclusivity, with velvet displays showcasing rare diamonds under golden lights. Impeccably dressed staff guided affluent clients through private collections, their hushed conversations blending with the occasional clink of fine jewelry being handled. Across the room, Isabela Davis stood under a crystal chandelier, wrapped in a pristine white fur coat. Diamonds adorned her ears, wrists, and fingers, each piece carefully chosen to project affluence. Her manicured nails glistened as she held a diamond necklace up to the light, evaluating it like an art critic inspecting a masterpiece. Isabela was the embodiment of elite extravagance. Her gaze drifted, catching sight of Sandra. The simplicity of her attire, jeans, a plain sweater, and loose hair, was an affront to Isabela's world of curated opulence. Her expression hardened as she leaned toward her companion, murmuring with a smirk, "They really let anyone in these days. Look at her, jeans and a sweater. Does she think she's shopping at Target?" Love stories like this? Subscribe now and never miss a powerful tale. Sandra heard it. The words floated through the air like an arrow aimed at her self-worth. Yet she didn't flinch. Instead, she continued examining a sapphire ring, her lips curling into the faintest smile. The silence with which she absorbed the insult was more cutting than any retort could have been. But Isabela wasn't satisfied. Adjusting her fur coat, she took a deliberate step closer, determined to make her disdain known. The atmosphere shifted subtly, like the calm before a storm. The sales associates, previously occupied with affluent customers, exchanged quick glances. No one intervened. This was Beverly Hills, where appearances spoke louder than words. "Oh, honey," Isabela called out, her voice dripping with condescension. "The costume jewelry section is at the mall down the street." The store froze. A man examining a gold bracelet paused, eyes flickering toward the brewing confrontation. The salesperson who had previously ignored Sandra now stood still, holding a velvet tray of diamond earrings, unsure whether to step in or stay out of it. Sandra, ever composed, traced her finger along the edge of the glass display. She didn't look at Isabela, didn't offer a word in response. Her indifference, calm and unwavering, was a silent rejection more powerful than any comeback. Isabela's smile faltered. She'd expected defensiveness, sarcasm, anything but this serene dismissal. The lack of reaction felt like an insult in itself, fueling her frustration. Then the doorbell chimed again. A tall man in a black leather jacket and well-worn boots entered. His presence was effortless, commanding attention without demanding it. He scanned the room, eyes sharp but relaxed, until they found Sandra. A slow smile formed on his lips. Keanu Reeves. Love stories like this? Subscribe now and never miss a powerful tale. The moment stretched, tension hanging in the air like static. The staff, previously indifferent to Sandra, now straightened their ties and adjusted their blazers. Customers, once engrossed in their extravagant purchases, subtly turned their attention to the man who had just entered. Isabela blinked, confusion flickering across her face. There was something about him, his quiet confidence, the way the room seemed to orbit around his presence. She didn't recognize him immediately, but her pulse quickened. Keanu's gaze moved from Sandra to Isabela, then back again. His smile widened, not with amusement, but with understanding. He'd seen enough to grasp the situation. "Funny," Keanu said, his voice smooth and deliberate. "I was just thinking how class has nothing to do with diamonds." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The store, once buzzing with discreet chatter, fell silent. Isabela's breath caught. Recognition dawned, and with it, realization. Keanu Reeves. And if he was here, standing beside the woman she had just insulted, then... Her stomach twisted. Sandra Bullock. Not just another shopper, but one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. The jeans and sweater were not signs of mediocrity, but of someone who had long surpassed the need for validation through material excess. Isabella's carefully constructed facade began to crack. Keanu adjusted the collar of his jacket, his gaze steady as it met Isabella's. He didn't need to say more. The weight of his words already hung around her like chains. Sandra finally spoke, her voice soft but firm. "I'll take that emerald ring, please." She gestured to the piece she'd been examining all along, her decision clear, unaffected by the drama. The previously dismissive sales associate snapped into action, nodding quickly. "Of course, Miss Bullock, right away." Isabella's throat tightened. The balance of power had shifted so swiftly, so effortlessly, that she barely had time to process it. Her carefully curated dominance, built on luxury and superficial judgments, had crumbled under the weight of authenticity. Desperate to regain control, she forced a smile and turned to Keanu. "You're right, Keanu. Luxury isn't everything. But let's be honest, a little refinement never hurt anyone." Keanu didn't blink. His reply, quiet but sharp, cut through her bravado. "Always found it interesting how some people mistake arrogance for refinement." The final blow. Isabela stood frozen, the heat of humiliation rising to her cheeks. The store, once her stage, now felt like a prison under the scrutiny of every eye. Without another word, she turned on her heel, white fur trailing behind her like a fallen banner of pride. The sharp click of her heels echoed as she exited, each step a retreat from the persona she had so carefully crafted. Outside, the crisp Beverly Hills air hit Isabella's face, but it did little to cool the burning shame within her. She walked aimlessly down the polished sidewalk, phone clutched tightly in her hand, mind racing. The words echoed, "Class has nothing to do with diamonds." Her thumb hovered over her phone screen. Instagram, her usual sanctuary for flaunting luxury, felt hollow. But then, almost without thinking, she began to type. "Today I learned that you can buy diamonds, but you can't buy class. Thank you, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, for the reminder." She hesitated. Posting something so vulnerable, so unlike her usual curated content, felt risky. But the mask she'd worn for so long suddenly felt heavier than the truth. She hit publish. Moments later, a notification popped up. "The first step to change is recognizing where we've gone wrong." The comment was from an account she didn't recognize, but the words struck deep. For the first time in years, Isabela Davis felt something unfamiliar. Not superiority, not envy, but relief. The weight of perfection lifted, leaving room for something new, authenticity. Inside the jewelry store, Sandra glanced at the emerald ring now resting in a velvet box. She exchanged a knowing smile with Keanu. Neither had planned to teach a lesson that day, but sometimes the most valuable truths are revealed in silence. And for Isabela, that silence spoke louder than any insult ever could. Love stories like this? Subscribe now and never miss a powerful tale.